Welcome! I invite you to close your eyes. I invite you to drop into your body, bringing your attention inwards. Feeling how the breath moves from the nostrils all the way down into the pelvic floor. And on the exhale, feeling how there's an openness that is being created, a softening. I invite you to imagine, feel, visualize all the women, all the people, as they might be meant to, who are connecting through this summit. There's more than 1,500 of us from all over the planet. So you can visualize our earth, yourself in it. All the other women, all the other people. And then gently, I invite you to ask yourself why you said yes to joining this summit. Why are you here tonight? There's something you desire for your life. And just feel that. Intention of wanting a life of more depth, more connection, of more joy, peacefulness. And now I invite you to start moving your body again. You can start by moving, swaying the lower belly, the hips from left to right. You can stay seated if you want. You can also stand up. And remain with your eyes closed. And remain present with the sensations that are arising in the lower belly area, the lower back area. And let this movement be a movement of release, of creating openness. And now allowing the swaying to go more to the middle section of the back, belly. These beautiful circles, making sure that you relax your stomach. You might feel certain contractions in your stomach. It's an area where we often keep maybe sadness or anger. And keep your breath connected and deep. And now moving more towards the chest area, allowing this exploration from your shoulders, from your chest, from the center point of your chest, your heart, as if your heart is leading the dance here, swaying from left to right, just flowing with this, and allowing it to feel good. Yes, we are here to feel good, to allow pleasure, to allow sexuality, and even if you're a man, that doesn't matter. And from this heart space, feeling an openness. And with the deep inhale, opening the chest to the front, and the exhale, sounding and sighing. Again, a deep inhale, pushing the chest to the front, and sighing, exhaling. One more time, deep inhale, come and open your heart. Exhale and sigh. And continue to move now in your own way, like maybe your hands and arms a little bit. And remaining with your eyes closed, nobody's watching. Unless you have your camera on, and then somebody else is watching you. Beautiful little secret. Maybe something else that is present now for you today. Deep and full breathing and sounding on the exhale. Yes, you're doing great. Feel the aliveness that is created through this movement. Yes, beautiful. And gently putting one hand on your heart and one hand on your lower belly. Taking a deep inhale into both of these zones. Exhaling, releasing, relaxing. Again, a deep inhale. And exhaling, releasing, relaxing, sounding, sighing if you want. And a last inhale. And a relaxing exhale. Yes, beautiful. And as such, we are totally ready to start this summit. At least I feel ready. I hope you do too. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is such an honor to to meet you all, to feel you all. Yeah, I decided to have a live ceremony and some live talks. I decided that only a couple of days ago, because I realized, damn, I want to, yeah, get to know these ladies. I want to feel them. And even though tonight and the next days there's only a limited, time and space for conversations and questions, I do believe that, coming together on a Zoom call, it has an effect, and it creates, rapport in a way that it doesn't, through just watching recorded videos. But as from tomorrow, well, my morning, your, I don't know what time, you will be receiving access to 6 or 7 even amazing talks. I'm so proud of the lineup. It was, a very beautiful process to get all of these speakers together. And I think we have a very, very beautiful journey planned for you. So tonight I want to talk about, first of all, I can introduce myself maybe. So my name is Leen. You know this already. You've seen the emails, you've seen, all the material. I am a pleasure and love coach. I'm currently in Brussels, Belgium, but I hope to be traveling all over the world again very soon. I must admit, I'm very interested in sexuality, female sexuality, and liberation through the body. 5 years ago, my life kind of changed because I left on a trip to Colombia. And on day 3 of that trip, I met a person who actually allowed me to discover yoga and Tantra. And during my first yoga class in 2015, I had a feeling of homecoming inside of myself that I had never experienced before. So there was a very, very important moment and an important experience. Long story short, the trip got prolonged, 2 times, 3 times. And during that trip, actually, I decided to fully dive into yoga to become a teacher. But I also had these very beautiful and important experiences relating to my own sexuality and who I was, who I am as a woman. And I started working with, female sexuality and embodiment quite soon, actually. I think people also noticed the difference inside of me. So I kind of was pushed into a teacher role in a way because my environment kind of asked me to, requested me to. That was very beautiful. In my work now, I offer online coaching and programs and so on. I really combine these tantric and yogic tools, the things that I've embodied myself over the last five years, and I mix it with neuroscientific based tools like contemporary Western psychosomatic healing practices. I'm also a trauma-informed coach, so that is very important in my work to bring those two together. And so those who know you, who are here tonight, you know that and the clients who have worked with me, they know that I like to go deep, and I like to go deep while also experiencing, a lot of joy and connecting to, the ecstatic element that life is actually, this orgasmic, ecstatic existence that we are, blessed to be living. So I hope to deliver both of those to you also during this summit. Why did I organize it? I organize it because, I realize that we all deal with similar challenges. There's particular challenges that women, I think, experience together. I also, of course, realize that this is a very challenging year, and these are challenging times that we are, living, experiencing, on top of just already quite crazy world. We have this COVID thing happening, and that creates a lot of stress for a lot of people on a collective level. Some people deal with it very well, like my sister Elle, she's watching, she's like very chill in her home. She, her personality is like that she likes the isolation, but I think most of us are experiencing quite a bit of stress. So I think it's very, very important that we come together and support each other. Even more so because, we are women, and we are moving, hopefully, there's a lot of science saying that we are moving out away from patriarchy, right? Patriarchy, hundreds and hundreds of years of conditioning and devaluation of women. And yeah, I think it's important that we empower each other in this process. It's not the men who need to empower us. We need to empower ourselves in a way. And when I talk about women here tonight and throughout the summit, I really want to, yeah, include, I mean, all women, or all, you know, also transgender women. On Thursday, I'll have a beautiful talk with Yamina, and she was born in a male body, and she was like, what? You know, she felt like a woman from the beginning. So I think the 21st century womanhood is also about questioning what it is, you know, what womanhood is beyond the physical element of that. And I think, yeah, it's beautiful to integrate that and to have, you know, the fluid gender perspective on this. Women coming together is also very important to kind of unlearn certain, I would say, like rules, maybe not rules, but assumptions that are also, I've experienced them in my life, and I know many women I know have too, assumptions of women to women, let's say, encounters. There can be suspicion, there can be jealousy, there can be competition. And so, yeah, I hope that this can be a space of, yeah, maybe healing some of that, and just a container of sisterhood, salvation, let's say. Yeah, and not gathering from a space of victimhood, you know, oh, for us, we are, you know, the victims of patriarchy, because I think all people are, all genders are, but actually coming together from this space of, yes, let's celebrate being a woman. It's amazing. We have amazing bodies, we have amazing sexuality, we have amazing minds, and we can, you know, we can be and do whatever we desire. So that is something that Sophie says, yes. That is something that I wish for myself and everyone. And, you know, if you don't know what you desire, then probably you will get some inspiration the coming week, I hope, at least, or some tools that can help you, you know, get clarity on that, and find ways to integrate that and manifest that, if you will, in your life. And yeah, let me talk a little bit about what, you know, what the sublime womanhood means to me, because well, I mentioned, you know, these three words: free, embodied, aware. And I could have put other words too, like indeed orgasmic, joyful. And for me, I just, you know, I consider them to be part of these three kind of main concepts. But tonight I would like to dive into them a little bit more. And yeah, take you on a journey, let's say, inside and deep. For me, let's start with the first word. It's not free, but I would like to start with aware. Awareness. It's an important word for me, and you know, sublime womanhood, let's say, because, well, being aware is important, right? And well, the fact that you're here, that you registered for this summit, means that there is, you know, some kind of awareness inside of you of, on the one hand, maybe something you would like to change, or something that you're looking for, some curiosity about certain themes. So there is actually a point or part of you that says, yeah, okay, there's something that I would like to be, or embody more, or explore more. So maybe you don't know what that is yet, as I said, and that is also totally fine. Maybe you're here because you feel a bit stuck. Maybe you feel a bit ungrounded, you know, you don't feel so good inside of your body. Maybe you feel a bit depressed. And I want to let you know that all of that is really welcome. So you're really welcome with all of your, also difficult emotions. I mean, this is one of the main intentions, is to embrace all of that, also to embrace also the difficult and the challenges, elements of you know, being alive right now, and then being alive as a woman, let's say, or as an identified woman. So the first step is this awareness. Okay, what is inside of me? What is inside of my mind? What is inside of my body, my life? And admitting somebody, and not just, or stopping to do things just because, well, you've been doing them like that your entire life. You've been playing those roles your entire life. And I think that, I mean, there's a gift with COVID, let's say, or the crisis that we are quite frankly going through as a species, you know, ecological is quite intense. It's like, it's an invitation to ask the real questions. Who am I? Who do I want to be? Yeah, what, you know, what do I want to do with the time that is left in my life? What is in my control and out of my control? Because I think that COVID made that clear, you know, certain flows in lives, or certainly or at a certain moment stopped. And I mean, that begs the question and the inquiry of how you deal with these things, knowing that you also, there's a choice to actually, you have the choice and the freedom to change the way you relate to things that you cannot control. So that is an important piece of empowerment and freedom. I'll get to that a bit later. And then an important awareness and question to ask is, okay, what are my patterns? What are the patterns in my life that actually keep me stuck? Yeah. And then last but not least, how am I dealing with the fact that one day I'm going to die, and we're all going to die? And I think it's such a, I mean, there's some yogini sisters here tonight, but I mean, it's an important question to meditate on, because we get so caught up in our day-to-day, the slummering in Dutch, the word comes in Dutch first, our day-to-day challenges that are actually kind of relative when we put them into the perspective of that. And I think it's an important important point of inquiry. So maybe that is the first tool for tonight. I'm going to give you some tools, you know, during the talk, and maybe that's something you can, you know, journal on. Okay, Leen, life, death. Okay, what, you know, how does it change the way that you relate to existence and to yourself? So the awareness of who you are leads to a realization that you are a personality, and that you have certain patterns that, you know, have led to certain things in your life. And actually, the personality, like who do we think we are, on a more, well, I think generally accepted level, our personality is actually a combination of different parts that were created as results or reactions to, well, most importantly, early childhood woundings, unwillingly, unknowingly created by our parents, and that are still kept are stuck actually in our primal reptilian brains, and that still act out in our behavioral patterns in our everyday life. And we don't realize that, we might not know that, but that is that is, you know, the neuroscientific proof or roots that I was talking about, show that very, very clearly. The likes of Stephen Porch and Gabor Mate and so on, they speak about that. And of course, there's conditioning, there's the roles that we play in life, there's gender roles, there's experiences that we have, the position in our families, you know, all of these experiences. And I think the important element is to be aware of or acknowledging the conditioning, acknowledging and getting to being curious about what the story is, even though the story is not as important. And I will get back to that later. But the acknowledgement of, maybe I have some shit from my childhood, you know, my early childhood, that is still having a huge impact on me, and especially how we behave in romantic relationships and the partner that we choose. And this is a topic in the summit. You will see Danielle speaks about it in day 3, and also Justine in day 5. So if the awareness is there, what do we do next, right? And the next step is, okay, I'm willing to change, and I'm willing to look into that and to take this dive within myself, you know, to question my certain patterns, no longer being stuck, and knowing that there is a freedom in this change. And the change comes by basically taking care of yourself, and by actually cultivating self-love. And it's a big word. I know it's a very trendy word, but it's so very difficult. Self-love, and especially I think for women, but for men too. I think we have this collective, we suffer collectively from a feeling feeling of not being good enough or not being enough, not enoughness, whether it's, you know, good or smart or skinny or young or old. You know, there's a long list, and you can, you know, ask yourself that question, okay, where does the not enoughness, me telling myself I'm not enough, show up in my life? Because I think there's a lot of women, I've seen this in myself, all of my clients, so many of my friends. Yeah, there's this idea that we need to be kind of perfect, right? Or that we constantly need to improve or fix ourselves. So yeah, that we can actually, underneath that is actually the idea of validation, and receiving love is only possible if we, you know, do certain things and continue to improve, to learn, to change, to get skinnier. I mean, eating and food and body love and body image is a big topic for myself. It's always been in my life. My mom is watching, and it was, I actually, yeah, she also experienced that. So I'm trying to kind of deal with it now, you know. I know my sisters also have some challenges with that. So you see how these things kind of reproduce. So that's the beauty, or the invitation also, to yeah, realize, oh yeah, okay, this is really a gift, or something that I can now start changing, you know. And then if you would have children, it doesn't get reproduced. But so food and eating is an important topic, and the body love. And tomorrow, for example, Michelle May speaks about that. Yeah, I wanted to integrate that too in the summit. And I hope that that might help some of you. So let me see. Yeah, this not enoughness, it is, I'm sorry to say, but it is related to patriarchy. It is related to these centuries' ideas that, well, women are, yeah, less valued than men. And that, yeah, we have just, we still carry that in our bodies. And we are more valued because of, for the way that we look, the way that our bodies look, and that again leads us to this body focus, and rather than for what we accomplish. So it's time, I think, to change these things, right? And yeah, one of the, I guess, and the second tool I want to offer you tonight is kind of creating a sense of awareness and creating a freedom, knowing that your negative thoughts and your inner critic is not the truth. Okay, so repeat after me. My inner critic, my negative thoughts are not, it's not true. It's not the truth. And what I invite you to do, instead of kind of feeling guilty because of thinking that about yourself, getting into a spiral. So then there's a part of guilt that is upon the criticism, and then you know, you create these thick constructions in your personality of kind of blaming yourself and self-custody in a way. So no, what I invite you to do with the self-criticism, but also with other emotions, and maybe they come first as emotions or first as thoughts, is to become curious about them, and to create, well, this awareness, to get to know them. Not trying to change it anymore, not trying to ignore it or push it away, but really listening to it and softening up to it. And this is where the embodiment comes in, because, well, most of, you know, modern day psychotherapy or psychology works with the brain. Like, you're talking yourself, or you're supposed to be able to talk yourself out of, you know, your issues. And yeah, that's actually a mistake. I'm saying this, but I'm saying this because, you know, famous experts say that, and they have proven this because of what I said earlier about the primal brain. Our deeper patterns, our deeper fears, our deeper wounds, they are programmed in our primal brain, our reptilian brain, and we can only access that through the body, through our nervous system. So that is why getting to know your inner critic, or another part that is difficult for you to be with or challenging, instead of pushing it away, eating it away, or doing anything else to kind of not feel it, become curious and feel where it is living inside of your body. And you can basically have a conversation with it, and you can give it a name, and you create as such a bit of distance. Like, this part is not longer taking over. You are actually staying in a moment, or from a space of observation, that you can cultivate through meditation and so on, you can actually start observing and feeling into that part. You can create it, give it clarity, and you can give it acceptance. And those are two crucial steps to start changing yourself, not pushing for a change, trying to become better, skinnier, smarter, or taking a new course. No, really a feeling into what is actually happening in the mind, and then connecting that to a space inside of your body. Where do I feel my inner critic? Maybe you will feel a certain sensation inside of your body that actually, once you drop in, you realize, oh shit, has been there here for a while. So this is actually your body signaling that there's something that you need to take care of, and that's the good news. You can take care of it yourself. Okay, so this brings us, I've jumped from the awareness to the freedom, the element of freedom, the freedom to change, and to realize that you have that choice. And I'll talk a little bit about embodiment right now. So the embodiment, I mean, through our bodies is actually how we connect to the world in a way. Our body knows things that, I don't know, that the mind cannot know. Our body understands that it belongs to the world. And through our body is how we connect with the earth and with everything that lives on the earth. I don't know, maybe you can recognize this when you are walking somewhere and you stand still and you see the trees. I have that often. My partner, I think he's used to it now, but I just look at the trees and I'm just in awe, and I feel this through my body. And there's not, the beauty of that experience is not because my mind is creating the beauty. No, it's because I'm experiencing it through my body, right? So I think embodiment leads to a different relationship with the world. For sure. I want to go back to something I was mentioning before. I was mentioning actually that once you start tuning into your body, you might feel sensations that are ready to be felt, and that actually might point to certain difficult elements, difficult experiences, difficult emotions that you have carried around your entire life, and you are ready to feel. And compassion thereby is so crucial. So the clarity, the acceptance, the compassion, to replace the criticism and the judgment you might have for yourself. But really just a willingness to open up and to feel what is actually underneath these things. So I want to connect the embodiment with the freedom too, because of course I've talked about how we can work with our personalities and with our patterns, and how we can create some change, and know that there's at least 4 talks about change also, through sex magic, amazing, through the law of attraction on day 5. So you'll get more tools, and some of my concepts that I'm now kind of flowing through, they will be repeated. And if you want, of course, more information, you can always connect with me, because this is really the basics about understanding, the reptilian brain, the old brain, the programming of who you are, and how to actually change that. And that is through the body, through tapping into sensations and so on. But let's go beyond that. So, and this is really, the gift of spirituality is meditation, or meditative practices, right? Of actually diving within, and we did it a little bit in the beginning of the session, and feeling or allowing for a stillness to come. That means that you're not longer in your mind thinking, and it's very difficult, of course, to create that stillness, because the ego, really your personality, who you maybe up until now have considered your being number one, wants to continue to exist. And in the beginning, it's not that easy to go and to find the stillness in between the thoughts. But this is really what yoga, tantra, all the mysticism or the mystical practices invite us to do, is actually to go beyond that. And to find in the stillness a deep acceptance of who you are. To find in the stillness a celebration of what is now. A celebration of of life. And if you want, you can close your eyes for a moment and you can try to connect with that a little bit. And as you close your eyes again, just following the breath, very simple. And feeling the sacredness of what is. And see if you can feel complete and whole right here, right now. And feeling that you don't need to earn your right to be, to exist. You are allowed to exist, to feel loved, to be loved without doing anything, without needing to prove anything. Stay with that a little longer. The stillness in which nothing needs to change. And you are perfect. And feel your body as your safe haven, a place you can connect with, tune in with, is coming home. And whenever the outside world is too complex, chaotic, just go within. Yeah. And just letting your body know that you will return, and see if you can remain connected to your body. Can be a central point in your heart or in your belly. Those are beautiful points to focus on. Can also be in the pelvic floor for more grounding effects. This is what all these, practices, Taoist, tantric practices teach us. It's actually how we are more than a physical body, also how we have energetic, we are an energetic body, we have energetic centers, and they have all their different qualities, physiological, emotional, amazing qualities. So when we, as we connected to the body, maybe you've had some voices say, okay, this is actually difficult and I actually don't like to be or to feel my body. And maybe that can be an indicator of, having, finding it challenging to love your body. And I know what that feels like. I've also struggled with that for a very, very long time, always trying to improve my body, working out a lot, having also, again, a system with eating and so on. I'm still actually a little bit, healing from that. So the invitation to go inside of the body connects us with this body love, connects us also with this our self-love. And now I want to make the connection to sexuality, because as I said in the beginning of this conversation, I am passionate about female sexuality, also male sexuality, but actually how connecting to our sexuality allows for this sublime living. And again, sublime living is not like a goal to get to, but it's more like an invitation for you to connect with, or an intention to connect with on a daily basis. But for me, all of the above, the awareness, the freedom to choose to change or to choose not to change, the embodiment, it comes together in our sexuality. And also, I mean, the shift out of patriarchy and the new balance that hopefully will be found for our planet, with a more balance between, the male, the female, the masculine, the feminine, because it's not only gender related. We have both masculine and feminine, yin and yang inside of ourselves. But for me, it is obvious that for women, female identified people, the empowerment comes through an embracing of the fact that we are sensual and sexual beings. And I'm not the only one saying this, right? The Taoists, the Tantrics, they've experienced this. They say like, okay, our sexual energy is actually our vitality, is our life energy. So if as a woman you want to feel amazing, if you want to do amazing things, then you need to connect with your sexuality. You can I don't think, or maybe in some cases you can force yourself into doing amazing and impressive things without and being disconnected from your body, so that it's all a mental impulse, let's say, and a very kind of pushing through identity. But I think that I'm sure that will create effects on the long run. So the invitation here is, and throughout the entire summit, and if you decide to try some of my programs and so on, is to actually really embrace the sexuality and your sensual self as a way to deepen your connection to joy, to deepen your connection to to life, to existence in general. So yeah, I mean, pleasure, our pleasure and our capacity to actually give ourselves pleasure is like medicine. I mean, skip pills, skip, I don't know, what people are doing or taking, but if you give yourself 10 or 15 minutes of pleasure per day, you create beautiful hormones that really release and reduce stress, and the effects are very tangible and will allow you to carry or to live your day in a more uplifted way. And yeah, having a self practice, I think that's my third tool then for today, meaning that you take a moment, maybe 10 minutes a day, maybe 3 times a week only, you make a realistic goal for yourself where you are going to actually touch yourself and be with yourself. So this is crucial, the fact that you give yourself the pleasure, and that you as a woman know how to turn yourself on, and you celebrate your sexuality for yourself. So that is so very empowering. Many of us have actually mostly experienced our sexuality for men when the man wanted it and was ready, and that is also something that is, I mean, of course, reproduced in patriarchy and in a way in porn also. But the owning of that and the embracing of feeling pleasure for yourself is so life-changing. And I mean, masturbation can be okay, going for genital stimulation, but it can be actually also just stroking your body. One amazing tool that it's so crucial is breast massage, massaging your breasts. Very simple, but this, if you do this regularly, it changes your self-confidence, it changes your self-love, it creates this deep body love and acceptance. So tip number 4, or your pleasure practice can be breast massage. First, you go in the direction right, down, left, up, and then after 5 minutes or so, you change direction. You cannot do the second movement if you have a cyst or if you have potential cancer cells inside of your breast, because it's actually a movement that vitalizes, energizes your breast. And of course, you don't want that if you have a cyst or something like that going on. If you want more information, just connect with me. So it's all about owning your pleasure and finding ways to do that, and feeling inside of your body what you need in that moment. Do you need stroking, or do you allow yourself actually to dive into orgasmic states? And I mean, I talk about orgasmic states and not about the orgasm as such, because I think it's so important to take away the the pressure on having an orgasm. And this is one of the big blocks and the breaks that women experience, is that they give themselves, or they put themselves, they give themselves too much pressure to orgasm also while lovemaking, that actually creates a control mechanism to stop the flow, to stop the surrender. So as you are exploring, your pleasure sessions, as you are giving pleasure to yourself, try to be with what arises moment after moment, and try to really, let your body decide, let your pussy decide, do I want to be touched? And if you have a tendency to go always for the same kind of orgasms, for example, clitoral orgasms, or you use a vibrator all the time, then my invitation is really to change. So if you know that, actually I have a kind of a dependency of my vibrator, then I really invite you to leave, to be vibrator free, and to do pleasure exploration without it. And it will really expand your orgasmic life a lot. So let me see. I want to not go over time too much. So still people entering. Yeah, in this process of reclaiming or kind of connecting with your sexual power and your, your unique sexual identity, because mine is mine, you have yours, and I mean, you don't have to be. There's no right way to be, sexually empowered. You get to decide, you get to decide what feels good to you, and also what feels safe to you. And that brings me to the next point of really honoring the process and honoring the fact that this may be a slow process for you, because the body keeps a score. So as we are connecting with our bodies, as we are connecting with our sexuality, our vagina, we might encounter emotions and the residues and echoes of the experiences that we haven't actually processed yet. In the official terminology, that means that you haven't completed the stress cycle, which is related to certain difficult experiences that you've had. And the body, it is stuck in the body. It is stuck in the primal brain. It is stuck in the nervous system inside of the body. It is stuck in your vagina too. That is why on day 3, Susanna Ruskart, she's going to talk about the armoring. So she's really an expert on this. She's a midwife. I have different generations in the summit. She's, I don't know how old she is. She's very much alive and amazing, but she's, maybe in her 50s. So she has this life experience, and so she confirms indeed that, once we start, working with ourselves, exploring ourselves in that way, we might come across, difficult emotions, and things might come up. There can be sexual trauma. There can be moments of freeze. If you are somebody, for example, who experiences a lot of tension, vulvodynia, or tension and ickiness in the entrance of the vagina or during sex, then that is a sign that actually you have, not fully tapped into and overstepped your body's boundaries in your sexuality. So those are things that might come up, and this is also, I don't know. Okay, this is totally accepted and welcome. And as such, actually your self-pleasure journey becomes like this deep journey of honoring everything that is inside of you and everything that comes up. And again, sex then is not just about having an orgasm. No, it's about exploring yourself in new ways. And it is also acknowledging, the shadow sides. It is also loving them and accepting the shadow sides that might come up as you embark on this journey. I want to see if indeed. And it's something that is maybe not fully addressed. I think probably you recognize this, but in lovemaking with somebody else, it can be super emotional. So it's not necessarily like this, one unique kind of or one-dimensional experience. There's so many emotions that can come up in during sex and lovemaking. And I think it's important that we, really create this space also with your partner. Once you can do this for yourself, you can also bring this in your lovemaking, and allowing for emotions to come up, and to be able to feel them, and to flow them, not having let them flow through you, and not having not pushing them down. And then, the more you actually feel all of your emotions, also the difficult ones, and you work through them, the more there's actually a general openness also to this more, let's say, deep living. And so that is the good news, like, oh, it's okay. I mean, it's challenging, and emotions are difficult, and we have a tendency to want to go for, to feel good, and that's understandable. But the good news is actually, like, through your challenging emotions and through your shadow emotions, you can actually come out feeling more vibrant and alive and blissful than ever before. And I think Tantra has a very beautiful, and the Taoists too, they have a very beautiful approach. They kind of also feel these, or see these emotions, all of them, as energy, emotion, and as potential to awaken to the depth of life at any moment. So I like the fact of celebrating it all. So it's I wanted to keep within the hour. I will try. So if you are a woman with a low libido, for example, if you're in that challenge, I know that many women experience that, then, I mean, first steps can be, cultivating body love, doing breast massage. If you feel like actually you're disconnected from your vagina, I invite you, when you feel ready, to look at her, to tell her she's beautiful, to, journal about that practice. Of course, I'm giving you these tools, and I'm guiding women through them in online programs. So if you don't feel safe to do this on your own, then don't, and ask for guidance. But if you are curious, then this is something beautiful that you can do. If you are a woman who's actually feeling too much excitement, I have one of my good friends, she's very horny all the time. And I think she's watching now, she's listening now. Then you can go really for these energetic sexual energy practices. Then you can go into circuiting, the word doesn't come. Using actually your energy streams throughout your body to make the turn on the desire, the sexual energy that you have actually a lot of, which is instantly good news, but actually to transform it so it doesn't stay stuck in this lower region and makes you frustrated and angry and so on and so on. So if you are a woman who's deciding like really more spiritual lovemaking, like I am interested in that too, then you can really go for this more spiritual realm. And so basically, there's tools and practices for wherever level you're at, even though there is no level. And I think it is beautiful to actually just open up, have an intention, like to just open up to, your orgasmic potential at any moment. And you might actually just have a crazy cervical orgasm, because you can have orgasms in your cervix, or a G-spot orgasm, or an energy orgasm, or a nipple orgasm. So actually really just opening up to your potential without creating too many stories about what you can and cannot do. I want to speak a little bit about the jade egg. Thank you for staying and being here with me. Also, of course, if you're watching the recording, I think most of the women will be watching the recording tomorrow or one of the next days. So the jade egg, I have one here. I want to talk about the jade egg because, the jade egg really transformed my own sexuality. It is, so jade is a precious stone, and the jade egg practices, they go back from the Taoists in China, actually, and there was the male emperor, and he had like 3 advisors, and these women advisors, and they experienced these beautiful effects with the jade egg. And the Taoists, they focus on having this healthy and balanced life, and also in connection with nature in a very, very beautiful way. And yeah, the jade egg, the practices, they came to the West through Mantak Chia. Maybe you've heard of him. And then there's also, so he brought it to the West. And then there's also women, of course, super important, who embodied that, and they became excellent teachers. And, you know, now it's really beautifully spreading. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, the jade egg really allows to connect to your sexuality if you're uncertain about self-pleasuring. You know, it's a tangible element that you can put inside, and therefore it's so, I mean, and it's beautiful, right? It's such a beautiful precious stone, and it allows actually to have this this new connection with your vagina. The jade itself is very young, and our vagina is young, so it creates this beautiful balance. Now it can really change, yeah, your sexual vitality. And once you know, your sexual vitality is flowing, then you will feel more joyful, you will feel more self-confident, you will feel more sexy, and of course you will have different orgasmic experiences, because, well, most of us, well, most women have the easiest orgasm to have is a clitoral orgasm, so that's outside. And actually inside of the vagina we have all these beautiful points that can be so sensitive or become very sensitive and have or lead to orgasmic states. I talked about the G spot, which is actually an area. Rosie Rees is going to talk about that too on day 2. Amazing woman also. And like all the other speakers, I mean. And the cervix, for example, is deeper inside. It's the entrance of the uterus. So when you don't give attention to the vaginal canal, it makes sense that there's, you know, not a lot of sensations there. So as soon as you start working with the jade egg, the first step, first of all, is actually you're going to be able to feel into your boundaries, to feel into when you're actually ready to be penetrated. And a lot of us haven't really, well, we are not, you know, nobody taught us to know, oh, are we actually ready for penetration? And for most of us, it happens too fast, or it has happened at least on, you know, a couple of occasions in our lives, it has happened too fast. So working with the jade egg really allows to claim the boundaries, to allows to really feel like, oh, what do I want here and now? And when there's a no, I want to respect my no. And that is actually a very important process, especially if you have, you know, negative sexual experiences, especially with men penetrating you and so on too early. And then there is this beautiful list of physiological health benefits, and I'm going to read them. I mean, the first is low libido, and a lot of women suffer from that. For menopause, you know, brings more lubrication. It can heal incontinence, and actually 26% of women, they suffer from incontinence from the age of 18. So whether you've given birth or not, it happens. Prolapse, so that is affected, all the organs fall, and that happens also, can happen after you have given birth. So and some women need surgery, you know, and that's yeah, it's severe and that's intense, but most of the women, they can heal from that, and the jade egg really can do miracles. It's from myself, I think I consider myself healed from a chronic yeast infection. So I had chronic yeast infections for a long time, and yeah, that's over now, especially the last year. And I mean, I started working with the egg in 2016, but now I started working with, you know, proper jade eggs, because there's different stones. And yeah, my teacher, who's Leila Martin, she recommends working with the jade egg because it's the safest and the most dense stone. So there is no risk of cracks and so on. So that is also, yeah, I mean, I'm taught by a decent, or let's say a woman who has a lot of experiences. So I'm following her advice. STD outbreaks also. And then vulvodynia, I talked about it in the beginning, you know, the tension at the entrance of the vagina, the fact that penetration is painful. This can also relate to the boundaries that have not been respected. So then there's also beautiful emotional effects, and I think I've mentioned some of them already. It's really dealing with the shame and the guilt, you know. And I mean, for me, it's funny because my parents are watching tonight. You know, I kind of said, okay, you can. I think it's the first time they're watching me, you know, teach being a sexuality coach and all. And I think, I mean, it's interesting how there's a lot of shame, right, around owning sexuality and being at ease with our sexuality, and yeah, that we are all sexual beings. And so the jade really helps with this release and removal of shame and fear and guilt around sexuality. So I think, I mean, that's a biggie, you know. Yeah, once you start working with it, it's actually this kind of celebration again of of yourself, of your sexuality, of saying yes to it. Let me see. Apps, yeah, I think I said the most important things. Yeah, it says also, I wrote down indeed the body hatred, so the difficulty of really embracing your body and loving your body. Yeah, that can be a big one too, and it's such a beautiful one to break through and to soften up, to kind of feel part by part where there's sadness, where there's difficult emotions, and work through that. Yeah, and there's of course also the spiritual benefits. Last but not least, working with the jade can really awaken Kundalini energy. And Kundalini energy is our life. It's a very potent source of energy at the base of our spine. Yeah, my parents are here. I think so, at least. Maybe, you know, not anymore, but yeah. So Kundalini is at the base of the spine, and the tantrics or the tantrikas, the yogis, yoga is part of a tantric system. They work with the awakening of that force. And so, it is said that people who reach levels of enlightenment and of awakening, spiritual awakening, they have their Kundalini move through their spine, the coiled up snake, which is, you know, the metaphor for the Kundalini sleeping at the base of the spine, but the coiled up snake is then released and moving up through the spine, and while creating this transcendental space and experience. Nazila asks, is this more than 1 hour? No, I'm going to wrap it up. I can do it. And there's one person entering. So my sweet ladies, it's difficult for me to stop now, because there's so many beautiful things to say about, well, being a sublime woman, you know, being free, being embodied, being aware, embracing your sexuality, embracing who you are, accepting who you are, taking care of your hurt parts, taking care of your shadow sides, being willing to look at that, and holding yourself through that. And with all of this, you know, that's the intention, and the invitation is to actually also just celebrate the beautiful complexity of life and the mystery of life, knowing that things are challenging sometimes, and they have been, but through this stillness and through connecting with love, first of all, for ourselves, inside of ourselves, and then you know, sharing that with people, we get to feel connected, we get to feel good, we get to feel peaceful. So I hope that throughout this summit, you know, you will feel inspired. I will hope that you will feel empowered. Such a beautiful, important word. I would like to advise you to take it slow. I mean, don't overdo it. Really take your time to pick. You know that the conversations are accessible for 48 hours. Mine will be accessible longer. because I'm the host, so you can, I could choose. But if you want, really consider buying the lifetime access to Sublime Paths, because this will allow you to watch all of these, 32 conversations now, as long as you want. This binging and this kind of pushing yourself through will not allow for an integration. So this is the invitation of is to feel like, okay, what calls you in, what teacher, speaker calls you in, and if you feel it, then work with them, register for their newsletters, connect with them, and really feel, and don't believe them also, don't believe me for that matter. Just figure these things, or feel what is true to you and what feels true to you, because we're all this word expert is a bit problematic too, and we're all just on this beautiful dance dance together, let's say. So if you want to, I'm going to end with a little pitch of my own work, even though of course this entire conversation might be an invitation. If you're interested in working with me, you can reach out. You can find my website on my speaker page. I do one-on-one coaching, so that means that I guide women in deep processes of 3 months or 6 months, and that is really if you are ready to really change. That's the most direct path to deep transformation, one-on-one processes. And so that's the first option, let's say. And then I have online programs, that is group programs, very beautiful to be in this with other women. And I'm going to launch a jade program in January or February. I hope for January. That would be amazing. I will of course keep you posted on that. I also teach yoga online. So if you're like, I want to try a yoga class, then you can find my webpage on my speaker page on the Summit website. So just go to the program the link is in the emails, and then you can you can find my speaker page, but I can also of course write my website here. But know that you will receive my newsletter after. Okay, so I'm just going to read through the messages because I think there's some questions maybe. But so just to finish this, coaching, online programs, and yoga and Sublime dance. I also do events, and actually, so be here. Let's say next Saturday we're going to end the summit with a dance, just a party. We're going to do some breathing, and then we're going to do some delicious dancing. But it's in the emails, and you will receive reminders. Okay. And Aldona asked for the music. Shall I put that? Do you want me to tell me now? Yes, okay. Yeah, thank you, ladies. Just reading through your comments. Very beautiful. Beautiful. Ooh, let's do a little shaky. Feeling the summit officially started. Yes. And one thing, if you want to come and hang out and talk, there's a forum. It's actually my Instagram page, which I transformed into the Summit forum for a week. And we can connect there, so we can talk. I realize it's not a private, room or something. But if there's a demand for that, I will create something private. But just come in, say hi. You can comment on impressions from the talks. And I know that the speakers will really appreciate that too, if you let them know, oh, I've watched Michelle's talk and these were my thoughts, or I have more questions, and they're standby, let's say. I think this is it. Is it going to be on your speaker page? The music, so I can put some music. I can put the 3 songs on my speaker page. I will do that, because I'm not going to type it, and I don't want to keep you too much longer. We all have busy lives, well, I don't know with COVID. But okay, let's wrap up. I wrap up feeling grateful, sending you so much love. A Facebook group, yeah. I was thinking about. I went for Instagram, but yeah, because I'm not that much into Facebook these days. But I will contemplate it. Okay, probably I'll do it. Yeah, knowing myself. So yeah, beautiful kickoff. Thank you, Maria. I can't wait to connect more the coming week. Have a great rest of the evening or day, and I'll see you very, very soon.